Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Pardon Our Picks, where perfection is a work in progress. I'm your host, Sam. Alongside me, as always, is Tarik. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you, Sam?
Doing good. And, of course, we have our frequent collaborator, Brady. How's it going?
It's not too bad for Tuesday, but I'm here.
All right. Well,
that's good.
That is good. Tuesdays are usually a little rough.
Yeah. But so is Brady kind of like our Justin Timberlake on SNL? He just keeps happening more and more and more.
I'm pretty sure he keeps bringing sexy back.
I mean, you said it.
Better than putting anything in a box.
True.
Christmas is coming, Tarik.
No. It just passed. I'm good.
It's passed. It's gone. We don't need any more gifts. No. So, of course, we are brought to you by Morningwood Crafter, morningwoodcrafter.com, powered by design, crafted by hand, and the Into Deep of Maryland, whose next show you can find at Fishhead Cantina on February 4th at 8 p.m. Go ahead and catch them. It's going to be an awesome show. You guys are going to love it. So, a lot of exciting things happened last week, but I think probably the most puzzling was the removal of jersey and shirt by one AB.
Antonio Brown.
What the heck happened, guys? What happened?
So officially, what I heard was Bruce Arians was trying to get him on board, get him on the field, and he is such a prima donna that he's like, no, I ain't gonna do that. Threw a temper tantrum and went, I'm out. Exactly, just like that. Now, the memes and GIFs or GIFs that I've seen from this have been epic. The best one I've seen was from Half Baked. Someone did the scene from Half Baked where he's like, screw you, screw you, screw you. You're cool. I'm out. So that has been amazing. But I was telling you guys off camera or pre-record or whatever, like I didn't get the game I wanted to watch. I took my kids out bike riding. I came back to just a slew of everything on Facebook and social media and everything else. My news feeds, everything just bombarded my phone with that. So I had to do quite a bit. What are your thoughts on it, Brady?
I kind of echo the sentiments that you went after. Something that I just kind of noticed from watching their game and seeing some of the highlights is when he was out with the injury and then the suspension after that, they kind of figured out how to operate without having him on the team. So my best guess as to what happened was that he wasn't getting the playing time that he wanted. And those incentive bonuses that are written into his contract, which he was somewhere under 10 for catches, receptions, something like that, in order to guarantee another $1 million on that contract. So he probably felt slighted by the team that he wasn't getting the opportunity to hit those incentives. So he quit. But I think he forgot there's an extra game this year. So let's get him some help.
He probably did forget.
He may have, absolutely.
So, this feels like, and I just saw this movie on the other day. I should have watched more of it. The Replacements. Is it like, this feels like the plot of their heads. Like, I'm not getting what I want. I'm on strike. I'm out. And what happened when the quarterback came back for the playoffs? He's just like, oh, you're not doing what I want. I'm just not going to play, and I'm just going to sit out.
What an underrated movie with horrible breakdown of an actual football game.
I know, but I love that movie. I think that and Any Given Sunday are like my top two football movies.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of the game plan.
That too. Yep. And I also like Longest Yard. So, but
stay tuned for our next show where we talk about sports movies.
But on a serious note, it seems that he's struggled with some sort of mental disorder. And if that's the case, maybe the stress got to him and caused an episode. I have no idea. I mean,
because he broke down with the Steelers. They let him go. He went to the Raiders. Didn't even play a game.
Nope.
Didn't even play a game left. That was the last I'd heard for a minute. And the next thing I heard, he was playing for the Bucs. I'm sorry. He's playing for the Tom Brady's. I mispronounced the name. the Tom Brady's.
He did play with the Tom Brady's, but he was also in New England with Tom Brady while he was there. It was same year he went to the Raiders and just didn't play. He got released and
all because he couldn't wear the kind of helmet that he wanted to wear.
Yes.
I have these arguments with my 5-year-old. So Antonio Brown is acting like my 5-year-old.
The only difference between Antonio Brown and your 5-year-old is your 5-year-old is not a multimillionaire. So
true. Very true.
I really hope that if it was a mental disorder, mental issue that caused it, that he is getting help.
Yes. He needs help. As much fun as we're having making fun of this, I don't want anybody to have problems. So I don't think none of us do. We do not support problems on this YouTube channel.
We are anti-problems on this channel.
Exactly. All problems, just anti-problems.
We're our own problems.
Yeah, yes, true.
But we don't support the problems of other people. Screw those people.
I don't support you or your problems.
Right. Anywho, so
speaking of problems,
speaking of problems, somebody has dropped in the standings. Let's take a look at it. There it is.
Boom.
Somebody with a comeback. This guy.
Me too. I got 11-5.
Tarik making a furious comeback himself, trying to catch Jessica. He's got a five game difference between him and her. So we'll see what happens. And of course, I came back from third place to replace Brady as the top person right now. Anything can happen in the next week or so.
You're winning by 1.
I am winning by 1. It's been a long and arduous road, and I had the downs, and now Brady's having a bit of a down.
Wrong time of the season.
Yes.
To have the downs.
It's giving me the opportunity. It gave me the opportunity to catch up, honestly. But
let's helps that you had a phenomenal week, Sam. I mean, you picked the best week to go that way.
Last week I had a really good week too. I think I beat everybody by at least 2 there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just been scratching and clawing my way back. But this week is going to be interesting. Let's take a look at the standings currently. In the AFC, you can see who's clinched. Tennessee, Kansas City, Cincinnati have all clinched their divisions. Buffalo has clinched a playoff spot along with New England. All three of the top teams can clinch the first round bye. They have to win and get help, of course. New England also can clinch and get that first round bye, depending on what happens with everything else. Buffalo cannot, even though they're currently leading their division. Just a little weird. Of course, we have a play-in game between the Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. The Indianapolis Colts have to win this week in order to make it in, and Pittsburgh and Baltimore are playing in, hoping against all hope that the Jaguars pull off a miracle.
Hey, it's not a miracle because last I checked, the Indianapolis Colts have not won in Jacksonville since 2014.
That is correct.
So currently that's 8 years because this is a new year. It's 2022, people. So
it's a weird record to have against a team that hasn't been very good in that span.
Yeah, they have one good season in that 8-year span?
1 or 2, I guess.
One or 2.
Yeah.
So they had the 1 year where they went to the playoffs and they should have won.
Yep. Well, they did that way back when Maurice Jones-Drew was their main running back, and they were like always chomping because that was when they were always second in the AFC South. So because they went to the playoffs and they almost beat New England in I think 2007. They were like playing New England in the playoffs and they almost beat them and then lost in the last quarter. So they've may not been New England. It was I remember watching the game.
No, they lost to New England.
Yeah.
Yeah, the New England one's the one I'm talking about because that's the one where Miles Jack recovered that fumble and they ruled him down even though he wasn't touched.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and that didn't happen that long ago. That might have been 5-6 years ago.
Because that was when Blake Bortles was the starting quarterback.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so that wasn't that long ago. Yeah, the one I'm talking about is like 07, 08.
There was that one as well, which I think was also probably the Patriots.
Wrapping it up, don't count the Jaguars out this season, this week, whatever.
I mean, right now they have number 1 pick. I wonder if they're going to keep it. Let's take a look at
Well, now their quarterback's in commercials, so he's got to do well, right?
No,
Oh,
apparently not.
Cleveland fans, we're sorry.
All right, let's move on. The NFC playoff picture. Green Bay has locked everything up. The Rams have not locked up the division. However, they have locked up the playoff spot. Arizona can get that back if they win this week. Rams lose. Tampa has secured their division. Dallas has secured their division. Philly at the 7th spot, which is weird, has secured a playoff spot. Don't ask me the math. I'm not going to go over it. San Francisco and the New Orleans Saints are the only two teams that can interchange at this point. So this one is pretty straightforward. San Francisco, if you beat the Rams, you're in. If you lose the Rams, you got to hope New Orleans loses. You know, we'll have to see what happens.
That's the easiest way you can put it, is there's one possible outcome that is going to be interesting this weekend, and that's it.
Yeah, the AFC could be an almost completely mix up after this weekend. But
Yes.
For the NFC, that is, of course. Yeah. But barring that, let's go ahead and take a look at this week's Brady's game of the week this week. Who was it?
Just piggybacking off what we just talked about, how the Saints could jump into the playoff hunt. My game of the week this week is the New Orleans Saints going into Atlanta against the Falcons. And I'll tell you why. So these are two division rivals. The Saints, I truly believe that Taysom Hill could be the quarterback of the future for them if he can learn how to be decisive with what he needs to do. I think he's holding on to the ball a little bit too long, but that defense is playing out of its mind this year. The couple of games of theirs that I've watched, they have played really well against some pretty good teams, and they're going up against, as we've said multiple times this year, an Atlanta team who is hot one week and cold the next, and whose defense, while they have had 12 consecutive weeks with at least one turnover, I think this is going to be the week where the Saints they're going to do what they need to win. And even though this would be a great game for Atlanta to play spoiler and keep a division rival out of the playoffs, I don't think they have enough. New Orleans by 6.
all right. So I completely echo everything you just said. I really don't have anything to add. This is a perfect summarization, I think, of this game. I mean, we're at the crux of it. This is last week. Go big or go home, essentially. I mean, they leave it all out in the field. You got some games that are playing for fun. It's just, all right, let's just do whatever. What game was it? It's the Colts game, Denver. Oh no, it was a Denver game on Sunday. I was watching. I got that, and they're like, "We're just gonna go for it on 4th down because we have nothing to lose." So this game is not that situation. And it almost hurts. Tastes weird to say. I agree with Brady. It's going to be a while. I'm going to have to brush my teeth after. But I agree with Brady that the Saints are going to win.
I've gone back and forth in this game. There's always one or two upsets on the final week of the season. The New Orleans Saints, surprisingly, with their cap situation and the fact that they don't have an actual quarterback on their team, a traditional quarterback on their team. Taysom Hill is on their team. Jameis Winston calls himself a quarterback. I think he just likes giving the ball to the other team. But I feel like this is going to be one of those games that just goes a different way. Atlanta looking to play spoiler. There's nobody really hurt in Atlanta. And in New Orleans, they haven't blown anybody out. Their defense has been their biggest asset all year. It's the only reason why they've been in games. And I think maybe Atlanta gets lucky this week. I have Atlanta in this one as my upset, but it's going to be a very ugly game between the two of them.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Let's move on to the next game of the week. Tarik, who do you have for this game of the week?
I have another division rivalry that is going to be a make or break. I got the Steelers and the Ravens. So this is gonna be interesting. I think this is also going to be an ugly one. You got two teams, they're vying for it, and Ravens are a team. Fans, I hear on the radio and everything, fans kind of want two different things. On one hand, they're like, all right, yeah, let's do the playoffs. Let's see what we can do. Not that we all have a whole lot of faith that they're going to get anywhere, but we always want to see them do well. The other hand, you got players who are like, okay, let's let's just end the season, repair our O-line, get people healthy, train Lamar to throw to more than just Andrews, and move on to next season. Steelers, they want to make the playoffs. They want to make Big Ben's last hurrah a good one, because he said he's done after this year. He won in Heinz Field Sunday, last game there. So they want to send out a guy who's taking them to multiple Super Bowls. Neither team has looked great this year. Their potential has not been met with expectations. Ravens losing by 1 to 2 points in the last 4 games. So their potential's there. Even their backup and their backup has done okay, like not as bad as I've seen other backup quarterbacks do, like Trevor Siemian, Drew Lock. Other ones have not done well. So this could swing either way. I struggled to figure out what's going on. I'm going to the Ravens with home field advantage, and I think they are, with what they've got left and as close as they've got to games, I think they've got enough to just push for this little bit over the edge. I haven't heard Lamar was practicing. I haven't heard whether he's starting or not. That will be, I think, a difference maker. But I'm going with Baltimore.
I would agree with you there, Tarik. Everything you said, really. I mean, the Steelers, they want to end this season with a high note for Big Ben, whether that's a one and done in the playoffs or what have you. If they make it, they need help. Or if they win this game, they need help. But I think that's just as much fuel for the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens announced today that Terrell Suggs, one of my personal favorite players of all time, is going to be the on the field for the game, and because of the rivalry that these two teams do hold. Given the fact that the Baltimore Ravens last week were able to hold such a high-powered offense in the Los Angeles Rams to just 20 points throughout 4 quarters, and the Steelers offense, who has looked absolutely tepid at times. I mean, they tied. There's a one next to their losses where they tied with the hapless Detroit Lions because they couldn't score more than 16 points with their backup quarterback, while the Ravens are staying in games with playoff contenders with their backup quarterback. I don't think it matters who plays quarterback this week for the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're going to win this game. But one exciting note is we could see the all-time sack record be broken by TJ Watt.
Sack record for the season, yes. Absolutely. He is 1 sack away from tying, 1.5 away from breaking. He had an amazing game last week, which kind of helped propel them to the victory. Ben Roethlisberger, of course, this is his last hurrah. He would have to win and hope for a miracle to get into the playoffs. Baltimore, you're right, the last 3 out of the last 4 games with backup QBs has kept themselves in games. However, last week, I think it was less about the defense and more about that offense of the Rams just not looking like they're in sync the past 4 or 5 weeks. They've looked.
Don't take wind out of our sails, Sam.
They've looked pretty bad. But I still think that even if they'd have put up more points, the Ravens would have put up more points to match them. So I don't think that that's going to be an issue this week. I think the Ravens, they've been so close so long and they're at home this week. I think they get that 2-point conversion to win their final game of the season. Baltimore for the victory.
And just a side note, I do not think the Ravens are making the playoffs.
No.
Too much help is needed.
Yes.
Too much help is needed.
Well, even if they do, they're not. I don't think they're going anywhere.
No.
If they do, I think Lamar comes back. Mind you, I think Tyler Huntley's playing this week because I don't think they think
he's playing this week.
There's no point in Lamar. There's almost no point in him playing. Like, just get healthy. Just don't hurt it worse.
Exactly.
Especially with TJ Watt hunting an NFL record, you don't put your starting quarterback out there if you can.
No, especially if he's hurt and he's limping. So
yes.
But I think if some miracle happens and they make the playoffs, he'll be back next week. He just won't be here this week.
Agreed.
Yep.
All right. Next, we're going to move on to Booger's game of the week. who couldn't be here tonight. He's not feeling very well. But we have the Sunday Night Football play-in game. The Los Angeles Chargers going into Las Vegas. Now, Las Vegas with the last-second victory last week over the Colts. The Chargers easily handling business last week. I think it's both teams very exciting victories. This would be my game of the week if I had to pick one, simply because it is a playing game. One of these teams is going, and one of them is not. I think, and technically, if they tie, they would both go. I don't think they're thinking about that. I think one of them wants to beat the other. But of course, Las Vegas, one of their players got arrested for DUI immediately following the game last week, because Las Vegas players will act like they're in Sin City at all times. The Chargers, with that high-powered offense, they have everybody back. I think that this is going to be too much for Vegas to handle. I think the Chargers take care of business this week. I got the Chargers winning in a close one.
I agree with Sam. I think this is going to be one of the more exciting games of the week because this is a leave it all on the field kind of game. But as Sam mentioned, one of the games that we'll be referencing later, the Colts versus the Jaguars in Jacksonville. If Jacksonville can somehow win, these two teams could tie and then both go into the playoffs. Do we think this is going to happen? No, these are professional athletes. Would it be awesome to see? Yes. But I think the Chargers offense has too much for an already depleted Raiders secondary, given the issues that have gone on the field this year for that team. It would be a really great story to see that this team, the Vegas Raiders, that is, to overcome all this adversity and make it to the playoffs. But I think Justin Herbert and just how many weapons they have on offense is going to be a little bit too much this week.
Yeah, what else can I add to this? I agree with everything you guys have said. I think the Chargers just got it. Vegas has had problems on the field, off the field, in the back office, in the front office. They've just not had an easy go. The fact that they're even in this position, I think, is phenomenal. Like how they got here with all the messes that went on this season. So kudos to them, despite how much I may hate them. But I think the Chargers just got this. They've played. Their records show one thing. The teams I've seen on the field have just shown something else, and I think the Chargers just got a little bit more electricity than the Raiders do.
Nice point.
Thank you.
All right. Let's move on to the next game. We have one more game that we're going to talk big about, and that is going to be the San Francisco 49ers playing the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Rams can lose the division if they lose and the Cardinals win. San Francisco, if they lose and the Saints win, are out of the playoffs. So, Brady, who you got in this game?
I've got the Los Angeles Rams in this game. This is another one of those ones that's going to be fun to see. Rams are still playing for their division and potentially the number one seed in the NFC, which can't the Packers lose this week? And then
Green Bay locked it up.
Oh, Green Bay locked up. Okay. So they're still playing for their division. They're still playing for pride in that. San Francisco's playing to win and lock it in. I don't think, even if Jimmy Garoppolo plays, I don't think Trey Lance has got the experience to win an NFL football game against someone or against a defense that has Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, two of the best defensive players on the field, no matter what team. San Francisco's looked good at times this year. They've looked bad at other times this year. But I am excited to see what kind of offensive plays that San Francisco is going to try and run against Los Angeles to try and get this victory. But I think Los Angeles' offense is going to be a little bit too much to handle.
Yeah, I keep saying this tonight. I need to come up with something. But, I mean, all the points I was going to hit on this. So, I mean, LA, they got it. They both have something to play for. I mean, this is the end of the season. It's do or die. We're going over these games first that actually mean something. That's why, if you guys have noticed, Brady did not pick a crap game this week as his game of the week. But this is just something everybody's got to do, and I think LA's just got a little bit more. And personally, I'm rooting for LA a little bit just because I want to see different teams come in. We're used to seeing the same teams over and over and over again. I'd like to see a different team that's what's been in the playoffs the last couple of years. So, but yeah, I got LA winning this. Sam?
San Francisco will probably have the Trey Lance playing. It's going to be interesting considering, I mean, their defense has been pretty good, but their offense it's been a little lacking. They played horrible in the first half of last game against the Texans, who granted have looked better as the years gone on. The Rams with their offense not clicking the way they used to. I wonder if maybe that was due to the Odell Beckham trade. If you look at it, their offense has gone down in production since he got there, and I'm wondering if maybe that's the case. Given all that, I think the Rams defense is good enough to shut down San Francisco 49ers offense, which is going to be enough for them to get the victory and secure that division this week. I have the Rams with the victory. All right, let's move on to our quick hitters, and we're going to start with the Chiefs at the Broncos. Tarik, can the Broncos get a victory?
No way. No, just no. 9 yet. Nuh-uh. Nope. They're playing their heart out just to get something. Like I mentioned earlier, they're like, all right, go for it, because why not? What are we going to do? Lose? So they're just going to go for it. Chiefs are just making sure they got it and keeping everybody warmed up for the playoffs. So, no. Brady?
Chiefs are still playing for that first round bye. So I think the Chiefs are coming out firing on all cylinders, and they could wind up pulling out some of those trick plays that we've seen earlier in the year that they've kind of gone away from as the season kind of started getting away from them there for a little bit. But I do expect the Broncos to put up a fight. I think this is going to be a fun game, but I think Kansas City is going to lock it up.
Kansas City is going to use this as a tune-up game. I don't think they're going to have a lot of issues. And yeah, they are still in play for the number 1 pick. Probably not going to happen, but you never know. Kansas City with the victory. Let's move on to the Saturday night game where the Dallas Cowboys, winners of that division, are going against the Philadelphia Eagles, who are locked in as a playoff team this week. Who you guys got?
Dallas.
Dallas for both of you?
I want to say Dallas. Yes, I'm going to pick Dallas, but I think this game is going to be a lot closer. Dallas showed that they can't really run the ball real good last week, and they lost Michael Gallup to a season-ending injury, so they're down one of their receivers. Now, granted, he's not one of the top ones, but he's still a good one. I think it's going to be a great game. I think Philly showed a lot of fight down the stretch, but I still think somehow Dallas's defense is going to have a rebound game after last week.
Philly's has won like 5 of the last 7, and to get them into this position, Dallas is not really playing for anything. Technically, they could improve their seed by a little bit, but they can't do much. I think Dallas rests their players. I think Philly might play for most of the game, and I have Philly in this one. It's final week. Crazy things happen in the final week.
The Dallas fan doesn't pick Dallas.
I don't, because I think they're going to rest everybody. There's no point in them playing everybody. There's really not.
Everybody warm, because I hate the resting thing. I get resting a little bit, but I've seen teams rest and then they're just crap.
Yeah, but you start them for like a quarter.
Yes, that I get.
Yeah.
Cough. The Baltimore Ravens. Cough.
Yes, I hated it. The Colts used to do the same thing when Peyton Manning was on the Colts. They would win, and then for 13 games, and then rest Peyton Manning and the starters for 3 weeks or a week or two, and then they go get a bye week, and then they come in and they lose to the Chargers.
We know Dallas won't have a bye week, but I think that they need to get some of their players healthy, so they do need to rest some people.
Yeah.
So all right,
rest people to keep them warm. Yep.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next game. We have the Bengals, crowned champions after their victory over the Chiefs last week. Surprising, I know. Going against the Browns, who Baker Mayfield is going in for shoulder surgery, so probably Case Keenum.
And they got officially eliminated. I'm going with Cincinnati.
Yep, Cincinnati, just hats off to them. Congrats on winning the division. But even with Baker Mayfield, I don't think they have a chance of winning this game.
I actually wanted to pick the Browns. I thought Case Keenum would play well. However, I think that the Bengals still playing for that number 1 seed. I think that they pull out a victory here. So Bengals for the victory. Let's move on. The Green Bay Packers locked everything up. Nobody's going to be playing in this game against the Detroit Lions. Will the Lions get a third win?
No.
Even with the backups in for Green Bay?
No.
Huh?
No.
I got the Lions. Because of the backups being in for Green Bay. Jordan Love's not good. It's really not that good.
Yeah, but the Lions aren't that good.
The Green Bay Packers have almost been beaten by teams with backups in the past couple weeks. And the Lions have been close in every game that they've been in just about. I think they get the victory here.
You're going for a lot of upsets, hoping that you're going to beat Brady this week.
Yeah, hoping you can stay in first place. But all it takes is one.
I'm in first place. I don't need
all it takes
the
is
upset.
one, and we're tied.
By one. If
Still.
if he has 2 more than you, he wins.
Why would I go with crazy picks if I didn't think they would be right? I would go with the safe picks if that was the case.
Because you're sick in the head.
No, I know it's the final week of the season, and this kind of thing happens with these teams. They
Yeah, but
rest
you can't
players.
predict that.
They don't
Just
need
like you
to
couldn't have predicted one of the Bengals beating the Chiefs last week.
No, I couldn't. But you can try to predict some of these. You know the Green Bay Packers are going to be resting everybody. They don't need to play. So the Lions, who have been playing hard all year, finally get a victory. Get a third victory.
Guess we'll see you on Sunday.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next game. The Chicago Bears going against I got Detroit stuck on the brain. The Minnesota Vikings, another NFC North clash. Who we got?
Look, I understand that the Cowboys and the Lions have like the same kind of color scheme, but you're a Cowboys fan. You're not a Lions fan. This is a pride game. I've got the Vikings, I guess.
I'm with you. I'm going on my app on my phone and just Vikings because they're technically a better team. So,
well, you're not going to believe this, but I'm going with the Vikings.
He's finally making sense, Brady.
I think the run game just wins this one for him. Let's move on. We have the Washington soon-to-be-named football team. They have announced that on February 2nd, they will name their team.
The Groundhogs?
You know, the silly nannies.
The Senators.
London silly nanny.
Yeah. And going against the New York Giants, who quit weeks ago. Who you got?
Washington.
I've got Washington in a game that is going to lock Tyler Henneke, whatever his first name is, up
Taylor
as
Henneke.
the Washington starter for next season.
I think that Washington gets the victory too. And his name is Taylor Henneke.
There we go. Taylor
Yes.
Swift.
Pretty close. Let's move on to the next game. We have the Colts, who we've mentioned multiple times today, playing the Jaguars, needing this victory. Do they go into Jacksonville and break the curse?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's move on. The Tennessee Titans, who currently have the number 1 seed, going against the Houston Texans, a win, and they keep that seed. Can the Texans pull the upset?
No.
I really wanted to pick this game for my game of the week, but no, I don't think the Texans pull the upset. Derrick Henry is going to be back next week for Tennessee, but they really want that bye week to make sure they get him back.
Yeah, the bye week's going to be really helpful for them. I think they're going to go all out to get it. I have Tennessee winning this, but I do have Houston surprising and making it at least kind of close.
Interesting.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on. We have the New York Jets going against the Buffalo Bills. Can the Jets give the Patriots a chance to win the division?
No.
I think it's going to be close, but no.
Yeah, Buffalo hadn't really blown anybody out. The Jets have actually looked okay. They almost beat Tom Brady last week. I have the Bills, though, holding on to the division.
Yeah, almost doesn't count.
It's true.
Most only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
There we go.
Right.
Horseshoes with hand grenades.
Speaking of those New England Patriots, will they get a win against those Dolphins who were eliminated last week?
Yeah.
I want to say yes, but I think Miami, given that they were eliminated, I think they're going to make a game of this because the Patriots always have trouble playing in Miami, no matter who's playing quarterback.
And that defense in Miami, I think, is going to be key in this game. I thought Miami's defense could win it for them, but I do have New England picked in this one simply because they have a chance at the division.
Yeah, I think Miami's game last week was more of a anomaly than anything, considering they lost 7, then won 7, and then they just dropped off the face of the earth last week.
They were also playing the Titans, so
that's not saying much, I don't think.
They're the number 1 seed in the AFC, so
Eh.
Let's move on to the next game. The
numbers mean nothing to Brady.
No.
The Seattle Seahawks, who got a big victory last week, 50 points, going against the Arizona Cardinals, who also got a big win in a different way against those Dallas Cowboys that I love so much. Will Arizona get the victory?
Why don't you answer that question, Sam?
I believe that they will, simply because they're still in play for the division.
Yep. Agreed.
I agree. They can win without their top 2 threats on offense being James Conner and D-Hop. So let's see if they can do it again against a much easier defense.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the last game we have here. The Carolina Panthers, who, have been fairly toothless as of late, going against the Tampa Bay Tom Brady's, who almost got beat by the Jets.
the Cats, you said it, they're toothless. Tom Brady's Tom Brady. He's going into the playoffs. No one's got more experience than him, as much as that hurts to say. The Tom Brady's.
Yeah, Tom Brady's. Oh, sorry, feedback. Tom Brady is going to play the first half of this game and then sit the second half of this game because Carolina can't even decide who they want as their starting quarterback.
I agree that Tampa Bay is they could bench some people and give them some rest. But I think that, because they're not really playing for anything, I think that Tom Brady, he likes to play that last game of the season. And I don't know if you're going to be able to get him out of the game early. So I foresee them putting up big points this week, especially to make up for the fact they had to come back last week.
Against the Jets.
Yes. All right. That's it for this year.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching all this year. Thank you guys for everything and being a part of this. Make sure you click that like button. Let us know you watched the video. Leave in the comments who you think is going to win, who you think is going to make the playoffs, any upsets you think might happen. We got 1 video left. We're going to do a video next week. See what?
We have multiple videos. We're doing one every week.
We are?
Yeah.
All right. We'll discuss that off camera. Leave the comments. Hit that subscribe button so you know when we're making a video, because apparently even I don't know when we're making videos. But thank you guys. As always, I'm Tarik.
I'm Brady.
I'm Sam. And you have a great football week.
Bye, guys.
I'm out of here.
Bye.